So I'm in Parque Simón Bolívar right now in Bogota, Colombia. And I just recently saw Jocko Willink on Casey Neistat's YouTube channel. If you don't know who Jocko Willink is, he's a 20-year Navy SEAL veteran and wrote a bunch of books, but basically his main concept is that discipline equals freedom. I discovered Jocko Willink about a year ago, but I've actually been really into this whole discipline concept for quite a long time. And I'd realized some of the things that he had mentioned, basically his main premise that discipline equals freedom. I'd figured this out about 8 years ago. I had a couple of really incredible experiences that changed my life forever. And as a result of these experiences, I became obsessed with discipline, what discipline is, different kinds of discipline. Like say, well, the sort of obvious discipline, like one of the things that Jocko is known for is waking up early, right? That's one form of discipline. Or, you imagine doing, 100 push-ups every day in the morning, or showing up 15 minutes early for work every single day. This is kind of what some people think of when they think of discipline, but it's really broad. I think it ranges to say having the courage to overcome your fears, or saving money, or eating a healthy foods. So over the past 8 years, I really became obsessed with discipline. Over this whole time, I've never skipped a single workout, or I guess over the past almost 6 years now, I've still never skipped a meditation session, which is another thing that's really transformed my life in a lot of ways. I want to talk about why discipline equals freedom is a concept that really applies to travelers, as well as those guys are laughing at me. So why discipline equals freedom applies to travelers as well as everyone else. A lot of people want that freedom to travel the world. I mean, not everyone does, but a lot of people want that freedom to travel the world. And I think that the reason why I've been able to do it, there's a lot of different reasons, partially because I'm born in Canada. There's a number of different reasons, but the main fundamental reason why I've been able to do everything that I have in my life has been because I've seen discipline as really the ultimate virtue, right? To me, personally, discipline is more important than intelligence. Discipline is more important than compassion. Discipline is more important than creativity. All those, I call those all sub-virtues. So you can become more intelligent if you're more disciplined. You can force yourself to read. You can force yourself to think about difficult subjects. You can force yourself to learn some kind of complex math or computer science. You can become more compassionate through discipline. You can simply by making habits of being nice to people around you. And also, discipline allows you to acquire the resources which give you the capacity to be functionally compassionate, right? If you have no discipline and you use up all your resources, or you simply lack the ability to acquire resources, then you have no means to be functionally compassionate. You can care, but you're not going to be able to do anything. So again, if you're creative but you have no discipline, what are you producing? There's no value to your creativity. So when I apply this discipline equals freedom concept to travel, a lot of this has to do with the ability to earn more money and the ability to save money. right? So I was able to travel for 6 months where I was earning most of my money. Actually, I pretty much just had a minimum wage job. And I was just super disciplined with my money. So I never went out to eat. I would go to specific grocery stores to get the cheapest possible foods. Anytime I had an opportunity to earn even a little bit of money, I would go for it, right? And then there's the application of discipline when you're traveling. So, you know, staying in the cheapest possible places. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and she traveled across South America on a bicycle for 9 months, and she only actually spent an average of $10, I think 10 Canadian dollars a day. She's Canadian, it could be 10 US dollars, I didn't confirm. But either way, that requires a tremendous amount of discipline to, you know, bike for thousands and thousands of kilometers, camp or couch surf, right? So, and then, of course, having discipline gives you the ability to acquire skills, start up a business, get that financial independence that's required to travel the world, as well as having the discipline. You know, I got rid of all my stuff, right? I just gave it away or threw it out, depending on whether I thought it would be useful for someone else. And I have the discipline to not buy new things, not to feel the need to you know, tie myself down to any kind of lifestyle or commitment. Not that I have anything against commitments, but I don't have that need to tie myself down to something right now. I mean, in the future, obviously, I'll change my priorities. But one of the reasons why I've been able to travel is because I didn't, you know, get into a mortgage, right? Which I think is a great decision. I think I probably, if I didn't want to travel, I would have bought a house a long time ago, right? But the point is, yeah, so I have that, the reason why I have that freedom to travel as much as I want is because of discipline. So you might say, well, isn't discipline by definition anti-freedom? And I don't see it that way. I think if you're not disciplined, okay, so here's an example, right? One of the things that Jocko Willink recommends, which is something I go through stages of doing. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes I find it not useful for a variety of reasons. But one of the things he recommends is getting up at 4:30 in the morning. When I want to get a lot of work done, like a lot of writing or I'm studying something, I find I do even better getting up at 3 in the morning. Right? But the problem is it kills your social life, because you can't, like, if you get up at 3 in the morning, you got to go to bed at like 8 or 9 or maybe even 7, depending on how many hours of sleep you need. I need about 6, I think, so 6 to 8. So I can go to bed at 9 and wake up at 3, that's fine. But so that's one of the things he recommends. So you might say, well, doesn't that put a kind of restriction on your life that kills your freedom in a certain way? Well, when you get up that early, in my experience and his experience and many people's experiences, you actually you actually end up getting a lot of work done during those couple hours, which is work that you would have to do later. So by making that decision to get the work done at a particular time, to get up early, you're going to have to do that job anyway. So you might as well do it on your own terms, right? So that's one sense. Of course, I talked about saving money. So financial discipline results in financial freedom, right? Another aspect, I would say, is physical. So of course, some people just have various different handicaps and there's nothing they can do about that. But, well, that isn't actually true. Some people with extreme handicaps have accomplished some pretty incredible physical feats. There's that guy with, you know, no arms and no legs who won wrestling championships and climbed Kilimanjaro. So, but let's say that you're able-bodied, right? Through very disciplined physical fitness, you have the freedom to now climb mountains, and you have the freedom to feel confident that you could defend yourself in a physical confrontation, so things don't scare you as much, right? And you have additional energy throughout the day. And when you're older, assuming that you're not working out too hard, you're not working out incorrectly, you'll maintain your physical fitness and spryness into a later age. So these are my general thoughts on why the concept of discipline equals freedom applies to travelers, as well as many other aspects of your life. I found that this obsession with discipline that I developed a very long time ago has actually improved since discovering Jocko. But before that, just so many different aspects of my life have gone really from, I would say before I discovered this concept, I would have put myself my life was pretty bad. And no one wants to hear me complain about how bad my life was, but it was bad. And I've really been able to accomplish almost all of my dreams. So if you found this video interesting, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I come out with a new video like this at least once a week. And also, I'm going to put a link to my blog in the video description. Check that out. I write a lot of travel specific advice, but I also go into more what you might call sort of a little bit more philosophical content like this, or maybe not philosophical, but thoughts and life and just my opinions about the way the world works.